Hello, welcome to Right Decisions After the Show. My guest, Pastor Cleare, we're talking about becoming a wife of character. And we hit about, I think about 7 of those, or maybe 6 of those on television during the show. But now we want to go into the other 3 because they're so important. It's so important for women to hear this. So, Pastor Cleare, we left off, we were talking about it's important for a wife of character. And let me just recap the other one, to have the other ones, to have integrity. First, we said that a single woman become a wife of character, you have to be a single woman that's walking in honor, walking in God's honor, a woman walking in honor. Then you become that wife of character easily. So then you have integrity, you have forgiveness. We talked about that you don't fall to jealousy and how you communicate your feelings, accepting of flaws. And so let's talk about a little bit about respect for herself.
Okay, respect for herself. A woman who respects herself is going to carry herself in integrity, actually. She doesn't have loud outbursts. She doesn't go around cursing. She doesn't curse her husband out. She is classy.
Mm-hmm.
She is dignified. She doesn't go around gossiping to everybody. When they see her, they don't think, oh, she's a gossiper, so just don't say anything around her. But you have to have respect for yourself.
Absolutely.
If you want someone to have respect for you, there are things that she's not going to do because she has respect for herself. Like I said, you never see me in a club because
not when you see me in a club either.
You're not going to see me in a club. You're going to see me reading my Bible and studying the word and walking around. I talk to people, speak to people, very friendly. And you know how far to go with that. But you have respect for yourself. You carry yourself different than other people. And then to have respect for yourself means that you don't holler and yell at your husband like he's your child.
Now that's important right there, what you just said, because there's so many examples that people see on television and they do that. They do what they see these housewives shows demonstrate, and they're acting. We hope that, but what you're doing, we pick it up and we're trying to grab hold. It gets in your spirit and soul, and then you act it out. But it's important to know that respect is not yelling at other women or yelling at your spouse. That's not okay. You don't demand respect. That's not respect.
No, you earn respect. You don't get it by yelling and having outbursts. And like I said, your husband doesn't belong to you. He's your husband, but God owns him. Mm-hmm. And you're not his mother. We all think we're our husband's mama, where we have to tell them everything to do and talk down to him and demeaning. That's not how you treat your husband. A husband is supposed to be head of the house. I don't mind my husband being head of the house. I want him to be head of a house.
Absolutely.
Because he prays and he's my covering. But I can trust him to do that. So I don't feel like I should treat him like that. I know the Bible says you shouldn't treat him like that. Treat him with respect. If you want respect, you have to give respect. And a lot of times in a marriage, nobody wants to respect anyone.
I like the way you said that, you want your husband to be the head, because a lot of times, and it's not even just the yelling part that women may do. Some women think because and I'm a leader in community and society and have my doctorate degree and all that, but guess what? I submit to my husband when that comes to my household, because I am a woman of God. I am a person of character, and I know that they cannot be two heads. It cannot be two leaders. But at the same time,
bump heads like a bull.
Say it again.
You bump heads like a bull, fighting against one another.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it doesn't make any sense. And what I love about it is, and when a man is confident and know his position, just like the woman knows hers, they really bring that beauty of God getting the glory. They work well together. He's going to get her input. He's not belittling and putting her down. He's going to value her input. But again,
Exactly.
he is the head.
And if he respects her, he will ask her, what is your
Absolutely.
opinion of this? What is your opinion of that? And he's asking you because he values your opinion and your opinion counts. And
Absolutely.
also in a marriage, we don't respect them lots of times because women might make more money than their spouse. And money should not have a base in how much you respect your husband one way or another. In our household, we put our money together. We pay
Mhm.
bills together. But
Mhm.
I have noticed in the new generation, they have their checking account, the other one have their checking account, and they split bills. There is no way you're going to get ahead in life if you don't
Mhm.
come together in your finances, in praying, in
Mhm.
discussing things without everybody doing their own thing.
Mhm.
God wants us to come together and be one, but as long as you keep all those things separated, and then
Mhm.
women, like I said, who think they make more money, they think they can boss their husband because they make more
Mm.
money, and that's not the basis for that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because you got to come together as one. Let's just say if they are separate accounts, and I know some people, like you said, that I have mine over here, you have
Right.
yours over here. What can that cause in a marriage, in a
It can cause
relationship?
so much conflict
Mm.
because one thinks they can go spend any kind of thing they want. The other one spends all money on all kinds of things. Well, if you come together, you can get more. You can
Mhm.
accomplish more.
That's right. Mm.
But if everybody have their own spending plan, it doesn't work like that. My husband and I have a budget and
Mhm.
we pay bills out of our account together. We don't
Mhm.
have what's his and what's mine. Everything is mine, everything is his. It's togetherness, it's unity,
Absolutely.
and God calls us all to walk in unity. But if
Mhm.
you can't walk in unity in your household, I mean, gosh.
That's it. Preach it. You are
And,
telling
and then the
the
things
truth.
about it, when you have children, they see all these things and they're going to imitate you and they're going to take it into their marriage doing the same
Mhm.
thing. You can do that in front of a baby, do something, for a month or so at a time. That baby's going to start doing what they see you do. So
Mhm.
it's so important to be mindful of the things you do, the things you say to your husband, the things you say to your wife, because your children are looking. And this is the next generation that's coming after
Mm.
us. And you have to ask yourself, did I do a good job in
That's
training?
right.
And some
That's
of
right.
us have to say, no, we didn't
Right, because we should be instilling those principles of God in our children
in our children.
so that it can continue. And I will say this, I had in my household, my husband and I, our things are together too. We are one. So we do
Yeah.
have that biblical principle as well. And that's it. I mean, how can you have trust in my opinion if you don't do that? How can you come together and walk on one accord if you haven't separate? This is almost lined up with the world system with prenuptials and
Yes.
you're having everything set in case it doesn't work out. You keep you a
Yes.
little bit. Have faith.
I know of 3 instances personally where I have seen the husband take all the money out of the wife's account because she was misusing it, and so he couldn't trust her. She was
Oh
using it
no.
on all kind of things and wasn't even paying the bills.
Mm,
So he had to take it back.
mm,
So, husband don't trust you.
mm.
So how can you walk in unity if there's no trust? You
Absolutely.
can't. You can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're talking about being a wife of character. So a wife of character, your husband's going to be able to trust you. You're going to be on one accord. You're going to have respect for yourself. You're going to have respect for your husband. And let's hit this last one. We can combine the last two together because you said values. She values self-care and then she's nurturing. She's unselfish. So let's talk about those two together.
Well, that she values self-care. like I think we said earlier, she's mindful of how she looks.
Mm-hmm.
You won't see me out in the grocery store with rollers in my hair. You won't see me out anywhere not being presentable with my clothes ironed, not just
Mm-hmm.
throwing on anything. When
Mm-hmm.
I get up every morning, and I've done this for the whole entire time, in fact, of my existence, I've combed my hair, I put on makeup, I put on lipstick. I don't care if I'm going to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
I put on something that I am not ashamed of. You don't have to wear high heels to the grocery store. You look comfortable, but look neat and look clean.
Right.
You
Right.
brush your teeth.
Presentable. Mm-hmm.
Um, you might see anything in the grocery store or in the shopping center now.
Mm.
So I'm from the old school and my mouth stays wide open because I am in total shock of what
Yes.
I see. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's amazing how far society has come down or lowered their standards, and they think
Exactly.
that this is fine.
There are no
Versus
standards.
there are no
There are
standards.
no standards
Absolutely.
anymore.
And that's why we have to ensure that women who are of God, that we are keeping his principles, and
Yes.
we are women of character, so that we can go out and shine our light and have other women and wives be as we are. That's very important. And then nurturing, you're unselfish.
Yes. You're able to nurture your husband because you love him. You don't mind cooking. You don't mind hugging him. You don't mind encouraging him. You don't mind uplifting him. Yes, you did a great job. You don't
Mm-hmm.
mind doing any of that because you love him. So you don't mind nurturing, and you have to make sure that you keep the being his mama separated from what nurturing is. Nurturing
Mm-hmm.
is to build him up and to show him love.
Yes.
And when he asks you to do something, you don't mind doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mind cleaning up. You don't
Mm-hmm.
mind cooking. And yes, it's a two-way thing because my husband helps in all of those things too.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things you don't mind doing because you love him.
You love,
You
you serve
love.
one another, right?
Yes.
Right.
And but another thing, I see a flaw that I did do with the children growing up. I loved them so much that I did too much for them. And they
Mm,
came out great, but I did too much. I filled out all of their college applications. I
mhm.
filled out all the paperwork. I did all the financial aid. And to when they had to start doing things, it took them longer to be able to do things because they weren't used to doing it. I loved
Mhm.
them so much till I did too much for them.
Right, right. It's
So
a
you have to
balance. Has to
be
be a
very,
balance.
yeah, you have to use a balance in that. And the
Mhm.
same thing with your husband. You can't do everything either. My husband said, "I'm good. I'm glad I'm a good man because if I wasn't, I could take a advantage of you because
Mm,
you always are so willing to do so much for me. But I
mhm,
do it because I love them, and there is no limit to my love for them. You
mm,
know, they asked me to make a hamburger sandwich. That's fine. I don't mind at all. You my husband. I love you.
mhm.
But
You
it's
know,
so much fussing and back and forth. No, I'm not going to do it. Do it yourself.
but you had a good point there, because when you said about, you encourage your husband, you edify him, you willing to love is an action a word, so
Yes,
it's going to be demonstrate, you're going to do something. But you hit a good point, because a lot of times you hear about people having an affair. It starts in maybe in the workplace, because what happens, they feel validated, they feel valued in
in a,
in the workplace. And
exactly.
we as wives of character got to realize that people need to feel love, people need to feel
Mm-hmm.
appreciated. So
Mm-hmm.
do that for your husbands. And then when and I'm using this because in the past they always talk an example of secretary second. Then
Yes,
when that woman on the job trying to lift them up, and only just being, admiring the person for who he is, not necessarily wanting to start out that way, we have to worry about, because we already poured into our husbands. All
exactly.
right.
You've already done that. And your
Absolutely.
husband feels secure in your love for him.
Mm-hmm.
You're not arguing and and calling him all kinds of names and bringing him down. You're building him up every single day. Because I always say, my husband is my knight in shining armor.
That's true. That's true. So I'm going to end on that. You know, we talked about building your husband up, nurturing. We talked about respecting oneself, and that's important. There's no housewives, and you know how they have Atlanta and Beverly Hills, and you hear these women calling other women's names, bitch, calling themselves that reference.
Yes.
You respect yourself. So there's no, when you have a character of God, you're going to be the real, the authentic housewife for the glory of God. Thank you so much, Pastor Cleare, for joining me on the After Show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.